How to use the sandwich method for successful communication. Do you love sandwiches? I bet you do, especially when it is layered with your favorite ingredients: cheese, meat, veggies, and is served hot. But what about a feedback sandwich on a silver platter? Doesn't sound good, right? Is that even edible? A feedback sandwich is a type of communication tactic that someone uses to a superior, manager, or fellow coworker to serve negative feedback or statements in between two positive feedbacks. Some might criticize this style, but it's better to just throw the criticism and dissatisfaction in the face. There are 3 parts of a feedback sandwich. Just like a regular sandwich, it also has a top slice of the bread, the cheese, veggie, meat, and a bottom slice of the bread. Let me give you a scenario to better understand my point. Imagine there is a presentation done by 3 employees. The presentation was great overall. However, there were some points that lacked emphasis, and the PowerPoint presentation could use some creativity. Here's how the manager would utilize the feedback sandwich to give his observation on the presentation. That was a really organized presentation. I loved it. The explanation was on point, and I can say that you guys have done your research well regarding the topic. I also love how you use statistics to back up what you were saying. But I find the PowerPoint presentation somehow disturbing. For me, it lacked the required design and branding to match it with our beauty products. Also, there are some parts in your explanation that lacked emphasis. I wish you could have highlighted more on those parts. But overall, I was happy with your presentation. I think we could impress our potential investor with you guys as our brand presenter. So, in the above example, the top slice of the bread is the first positive comment, where the manager said that the presenters researched well and used numbers to prove their points. The meat here refers to the constructive feedback, where the manager criticized the presentation's lack of creativity and emphasis. Now, the bottom slice of the bread is a closing statement, where the manager said about being happy with the presentation and that the presenters could win this potential investor if they represent the company. You also have to take note that the feedback sandwich is not limited to a corporate setting. It can be used by anyone, whether in school, at home, or basically everywhere. There are also instances that you might want to avoid using this approach. Sometimes you need to be more concerned about clearly fixing improper behavior. If the problem you are dealing with has to do with misconduct, safety, or the baseline behavioral standards of your organization, then you have to be crystal clear. Toss the bread and serve them the sizzling meat straight. Now that you know about the feedback sandwich, let's tackle some of its pros and cons, so you may better use it according to your needs. Advantages of the feedback sandwich. Number 1. Alleviates the impact of the criticism. No one wants to hear criticism, whether it's directed at a coworker or directed at management. It is not only difficult to hear, but it is also awkward to offer. Because it is sandwiched between 2 favorable statements, a feedback sandwich might mitigate the effect of the criticism. Also, since the comment begins and finishes with something the individual did correctly, or with some type of praise, it makes the criticism easier to swallow. It basically takes the string off of hearing what you did wrong. Number 2. Allows easier feedback dissemination. It is also easy for the individual to provide comments. It also makes the situation a little more pleasant for all parties involved. Number 3. Helps employees increase their receptiveness to criticism. Another benefit of the feedback sandwich is that it helps employees and others on your team become more open to criticism. Because no one is flawless. We will almost certainly all face criticism at work at some point. When criticism is sandwiched between two good comments, we tend to grow more receptive to the prospective negative feedback the more we experience it. Number 4. Enables meetings to end on a positive note. It might be awkward to conclude a meeting or even a one-on-one conversation with criticism. When a feedback sandwich concludes on a positive note, team members leave the meeting or chat feeling good about themselves and confident in their performance. Disadvantages of the feedback sandwich. Using terms such as "but" can undermine positive performance. Have you ever been in the middle of a discussion and thought, "I feel a but coming on"? Like when someone says to you, "You look awesome today," but using words like "but" and "although" might undercut or nullify the good comments you're offering regarding a teammate's performance. When delivering comments, it is sometimes best for everyone if you skip the "but" and go directly to the point. Number 2. Feedback isn't clear. One downside of the feedback technique is that it has the ability to complicate the message and make it confusing. When the person on the receiving end hears something they need to work on in the middle of two things they did well, they may leave the engagement wondering, "So, did I do a good job or not?" If you truly want to get over how someone can improve their abilities or remedy something they did badly, the feedback approach might not be the greatest way to go. Giving constructive feedback might be challenging, but if your team is to develop, you must communicate the information in a way that the other person will listen. For this to be successful, you must be sincere in your critique. And don't let this be the only trick you have up your sleeve, because they'll begin to believe that every time you praise them, a critique is expected to follow. Try adjusting according to your needs and to your own team's needs. Doing so will allow you to use this approach to your advantage, conveying what you want to say while making improvements to the end listener. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing to this channel. You may also want to eat your favorite sandwich after this one. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and see you guys at the next one. Bye!